After studying this module, you shall be able to know the various features of handprint and numerals. You will learn about the disguised handprint and numerals. You will able to identify the handprints and numerals. A forensic document examination normally consists of comparison of naturally written question and request text to determine if they are of a common authorship. Occasionally, a forensic document examiner receives a case in which he or she observes distortion in either the disputed text or request exemplar. Some causes of distortion in the writing can be temporary or permanent health problem, missed medication, writing position, chemical or alcohol abuse, or disguise. Examination involving documents containing distorted text are discussed in this module on the handwriting and signature. This particular module will discuss intentional distortion, that is, disguise of handprinting and numerals. The difference between disguise and distortion is intended. In disguised writing, the writer is making a conscious effort to change his or her letter formation in order to avoid being identified. However, in distortion, the writer is not intentionally altering his or her writing. Distorted writing share most of the same characteristics of disguise. Fluency is one feature that may be present in distorted text but absent in disguised writing. Inconsistency and lack of fluency present red flags to the forensic document examiner that the writing may be disguised or opposed to distorted. For example, a tremor and pen stop tends to occur at inappropriate location on a character when they are a result of disguise and not distortion. A conclusion as to authorship of handprinting and numerals is based on writer's combination of habits of characteristics within the set of writing. A conclusion most likely cannot be reached if the disguised handprinting is either a drawing or illegible to the handprinting, contains the individuality necessary to allow for an identification or elimination of a writer. The absence of elements such as connecting strokes does not prohibit point of being a scribble. However, the fact that writing is disguised does not necessarily neglect the possibility of determining authorship. The quality of disguise will determine the writer's success in preventing a forensic document examination of the disputed text. There are people who choose to use handprinting as their means of disguise because they believe it cannot be identified. Others, however, produce disguised handprinting by attempting to change from a usual to an unusual manner of writing. Past researchers has found that disguise more often occurs on the delicated or dictated exemplars rather than in question document. It is fortunate for a society that the majority of criminals focus their attention on obtaining their ill-gotten goods, that is merchandise or money, and not the act of writing. Force check, for example, usually contain natural writing on the face detail. Now let us go through the consideration in the examination of handprinting. Handprinting containing the individuality necessary to allow for an identification or elimination of the writer. The absence of elements such as connecting strokes does not prohibit a thorough analysis of another important characteristics. The early works of Osborne, Hilton and Conway propose using the same examination of methodology as the handwriting. As we know, Hilton said, the conclusion that a single writer prepared two sets of lettering is thus assured when all the habits of disputed meter are found in the known specimen, while at the same time the existing variation between the representative known forms and disputed lettering can be accounted for by the normal variation common to that individual's lettering. Furthermore, a sufficient number of individual habits must be common to the two sets of specimen, question and standard, so that the likelihood of both coming from the same origin is so great that it becomes a virtual certainty. By the same token, fundamental difference, especially consistently repeated once established that the two sets of lettering are by different writers. Instead of hand lettering being exempted from technical identification, as many believe, it is highly individual as a person's cursive writing or signature and therefore is subject to identification. and identification or elimination is based on a combination of habits within the individual's writing or handprinting. Because of these basic premises, it is obvious that the database listening class characteristics based on construction of a feature provided limited assistance in the examination. Determining a writer's natural variation of each feature within the combination of his or her writing habits provides the individualization of the handprinting. When one considers the indefinite number of variation of one feature is combination with the indefinite number of variation of the other feature in the same set of writing, the determination of authorship is truly based on the individualizing characters within the set of writing. The requirement for the handprinting examination includes known exemplars that are comparable to the disputed text, inadequate in amount and timely or contemporaries. Both writing were written by one writer. Common sense dictates that uppercase handprinting is not comparable to lowercase, nor are cursive letters comparable to the handprinted forms. Advocate refers to the number of known exemplars needed to allow the forensic document examiner to determine the writer's range of variation. It is not possible to set a definite number of known exemplar. Factors such as length of the question text, the writer's cooperation in providing comparable exemplars, complexity of letter formation and natural writing variation affects the number of known exemplars deemed adequate for comparison to the disputed text or material. For example, 20 to 30 repetitions of the letter forms in and 10-word robbery note may be adequate for examination in one case, while 2 or 3 pages of dictated text of a disputed 5-page letter may be adequate for that particular examination. Timelines refer to the time frame of the known exemplar to the question document. Contemporary exemplum should reflect the writer's skill and range of variation in relation to the time frame of the disputed text. This can be a significant factor in cases where there is a deterioration in writer's writing due to declining health, chemical or alcohol abuse or writing immaturity. Once the forensic document examiner has catch known exemplars, a determination as naturalness of the question and known text must be made. The examination is less complicated when both texts reflect handprinting, that is, the naturally and freely executed. The forensic document examiner examines the question and known document separately in order to determine the combination of characteristics or habits present in each set. Letter construction, internal proposition, size and shape of each letter form, ratio, height relationship, line quality, format or arrangement of text, and punctuations are a few of the characteristics to be considered. Internal consistency within a set of writing is another characteristic that further aids in determination of range of variation. Internal consistency is defined as the element of handwriting when the same or similar strokes of sequence of strokes occur in different letters. In a study on this particular topic, G.A. Dawson examined samples by 47 writers who are requested to handprint the London letter. Ratio was first characteristic studied. He found consistency in the relative heights and sizes of the letters having an upper and lower extender and those having only a middle zone. He also found that the ratio transferred from one letter to other. Internal consistency is the formation of vowel of the letter D and G is present. Internal consistency in the formation of letters, similar letter formation is one characteristic and a forensic document examiner consider in determination of authorship. Length of upper extenders for D was the same in the other letters that have upper extenders. The presence or lack of internal consistency within the set of writing is another characteristic that further individualizes the writer's handprinting. Sometimes a determination of authorship is not possible. It cannot be stressed enough that the hand-printed text must be adequate in length and contain a combination of individual habits to allow forensic document examiner to identify or eliminate a writer. Due to its brevity, authorship of disputed text, that is high, cannot be determined. Even though these two letters may contain individualizing character, the fact that there are only two letter forms prevents forensic document examiner from identifying or eliminating a writer to the exclusion of all others. Now next is consideration in the examination of numerals. The identification of numerals is closely related to the handprinting in that it is also disconnected. Three fundamental factors that involved in the identification of numerals: form, writing quality, or movement and variation. A unique combination of These factors provides the basis for an identification or elimination. Fundamental differences in either form or movement are the means of distinguishing numerals prepared by different writers. Identification of numerals rests not only in their basic design but also a subordinate factor of design. These factors include initial and ending strokes, ornamentation, and any simplification of design, overall slant, and the interrelationship of component parts of the compound digits, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Size, space, presence of connected strokes between numerals, baseline alignment, and positioning of the multiple numbers contains the combination of habits that are identifiable to one writer. This particular module will briefly discuss the research that provides data on class characteristics and variation of numeral formation, information that assists the forensic document examiner in establishing the significance of features observed in the numeral forms. As children, we are taught how to write numbers through formal training using a copybook style. Divergence from the copybook system introduces individuality into a number form. However, not all divergences are individual in nature. Some are more common than others. Just as with the handprinting, class characteristics are sourced not only to the copybook style but also to the geographical and cultural influences. Now let us go through the class and individual characteristics of numeral. The variety of formation in each numeral establishes the identifying element. Determination of construction or formation of the numbers is critical in examination process. It provides the basis of establishing how much the numeral deviates from copybook style. The Kelly and Gill studies examined a writer's variation in his or her execution of particular numeral. For example, 6 different formations of numeral 5 and 5 of numeral 8 were observed in both studies, indicating that the construction of a number occurs in a predictable manner. Horton and Kelly established a percentage range in identifying the frequency of occurrence in individual number formation. In Horton study, 6.6% of their 625 participants formed a tent-shaped 4 and 68% used in S formation for 8. Of Horton 580 writers, 5.6 used a tented-shaped 4 and 76% used an S formation for 8. While the Kelly's percentage for 200 writers included 9% using a tent-shaped 4 and 66 using the S formation for 8. Kelly's study included the frequency of occurrence of internal consistency. 25% of 200 writers use the same ending formation for the numerals 3 and 5. For example, if 3 had an open loop inside the lower bowl, this movement was replicated in the lower bowl of the 5. The presence of internal consistency between the number formation is an identifying characteristic that further aids a forensic document examiner in determining authorship. Conway observed that it is not difficult for any writer to develop several classes of numerals and occasionally to use them interchangeably without being aware of their own variation. The use of 2 or more numeral formation may be part of writer's variation. In her research of 100 writers, Gill found that over 48% used 2 or more forms of 6, whereas 55% used 2 or more forms of 2 and 43% used 2 or more forms of 9. Kelly's study recorded 46% used 2 forms of 2, 38% of 9 and 37% of 7. These data strongly suggest that a forensic document examiner exercises caution in eliminating a writer in cases where both the question and known exemplars of the numerals are equal in skill level. The importance of numerals known as exemplar, both request and course of business cannot be overemphasized. If the request exemplar reflects a writer's use of only one formation of numerals, course of business exemplars may provide enlightenment as to the writer's habit when it's come to his or her variation of number forms. Tying one number to another with a connecting stroke is an individual characteristic and can be significant because the writer is not taught to connect the numbers. Kelly's study assessed that the frequency of occurrence of connected numbers of the 200 writers, 35% connected at least one combination of numbers, the first number being a 5, 8 or 2. 16% connected 2 sets of numbers with the 5 and 8 or the 8 and 5 combination occurring most frequently. 22% connect 3 or more sets of numbers with 2, 5 or 8 being the first number. Next we have disguised handprinting methods. Numerous papers published and unpublished have been written regarding the characteristics writers commonly use when attempting to disguise their handwriting or handprinting. Inconsistency in letter forms, tremors, poor line quality, use of alternate letter forms normally not used by writer, angularity of letter formation, numerous individual strokes, streak printings, the overwriting of letter, use of the unaccustomed hand, use of squared form, use of Grostiuk form, and other intentional misspellings are characteristic commonly associated with intentional disguise. Utilizing one or more of these techniques alters the pictorial appearance of the handprinting. Davidson and Kleckler characterized the use of certain characteristics in their study of 50 writers. Change in the slope was utilized by 23 of the 50 participants. It was also most difficult characteristic for those writers to maintain throughout exemplar. Approximately half of the writers in the study disguised their handprinting by changing the size of the letter forms and spacing, lengthening or shortening the upper and lower extensions, and changing terminal strokes of the upper and lower letters. Of the 28 writers who utilized the letter characteristics as a form of disguise, change to the terminal stroke occurred more in capital letters, that is capital D, H, R, U and Y. The most commonly changed lowercase letters are small d, E, G, H, L, M, N, P, Q, S and W. Lengthening the terminal strokes and adding curves or embellishing the letter were the most common methods for changing the terminal strokes. Not surprisingly, 46 of 50 writers changed their capital letters by using block style of printing, shortening or lengthening the beginning and ending strokes, or embellishing the letters. Only 35 of participants changed their lowercase letter. Of 35, 10 changed from either all uppercase to lowercase letters or vice versa. Formal education influences the characteristics chosen by the writer. Hall's study of 160 participants revealed that those with fewer than 12 years of education were more likely to use handprinting as their method of disguise. 28% of this group was least likely to change their numeral formation. Change in the number forms was used as a method of disguise by 81% of participants with a higher education degree. Alternate capital letters were used by 96.9% of the 160 participants, while only one writer used change in height ratio. Hand printing using with a custom hand is another method of disguising. This method usually affects the skill of the writing, thereby creating a drastic difference in the pictorial appearance of the letter. Dawson's study confirmed the past research regarding the use of a custom hand as a method of disguise. His study was comprised of 20 participants who were instructed to write the letter London once with the right hand and once with the left hand. Hand printing produced by a custom hand, sometimes referred as offhand writing, is characterized by loss of fluency and the letters are generally larger than the right hand counterparts. Other characteristics observed in the study includes the following, like the round portion of the letters such as A, D and G were jagged and subject to abrupt directional change in the pen movement. Tick marks were more prevalent. Vertical and horizontal stroke used in the staffs and crossbar of the letters like B, D, F, H, L and T were curved, straight and wavy, and most crossbars are sloped haphazardly. Even though the accustomed hand affects the pictorial appearance of the writing, the examiner may still be able to conduct a complete examination. The writer using the unaccustomed hand will still produce familiar letter forms because it is extremely difficult to focus attention on producing a readable product and invent new letter formation. The writer's combination of habit is still present within the set of hand printing, making it possible for a document examiner to conduct an examination and reach a conclusion. Now let us see disguised hand printed exemplars. The suspect may disguise his or her request exemplar in an attempt to prevent the forensic document examiner from identifying him or her. If it is believed that suspect writer is providing disguised exemplar, the forensic examiner should investigate and will need to obtain significant more dictated exemplars. Justification for increase in the amount of exemplar is due to difficulty in maintaining disguised handprinting. To execute successful disguise, the writer has to focus complete attention on deviating from his or her natural writing. Awkward pen position, odd positioning of request exemplar while the writer is completing it. Heavy pen pressure creating a deep indentation in the writing line and tremendous amount of time used by the writer in completing the personal information area of the form are hints that the writer is disguising his or her exemplar. When any of these observations are made, the request exemplar process may require a longer time frame than the normal. The detective or document examiner must try to determine if the observations are a result of dealing with a person who is uneducated or a low-skilled writer or producing a disguised writing. Careful attention to the writers completing the exemplar is mandatory. Only by the close observation will the examiner be able to determine if the writer is attempting to disguise his or her writing, since the author's natural letter form will appear throughout the exemplar. Writing habits are neurologically fixed and it is very difficult to override the biological setting to maintain the disguise. If disguised writing appears, the forensic document examiner or detective will need to take additional exemplars until the writers return to the natural, that is undisguised handprinting. Are there advocate samples of naturally handprinted letter forms comparable to the question text throughout the disguised request exemplars? In case where it is suspected that the writer used his or her accustomed hand on the question document, the request exemplar should also include samples of unaccustomed hand printing. If the writer refused to voluntarily provide the hand-printed exemplars with his or her hand off, it may be necessary to obtain a court order. If a custom hand-printed exemplar cannot be obtained, the forensic document examiner will need to include in his or her demonstration these features like overall size of the letter larger than the normal, shift in the slope, and whether vertical and horizontal strokes are curved, straight or wavy, which will change the pictorial appearance of the letter forms commonly found in the hand printings done with the unaccustomed hand. Demonstration of hand printed exemplar executed with writer's accustomed hand should be convincing evidence that the minute characteristic identifiable to the suspect writer are present in the question text. Course of business exemplar bearing hand printing of the suspected writer may be assistance in determining their authorship. Employment and rent applications are good source of natural hand printing. If the course of business documents reflects natural and hand printing, they provide objective documentation that the request exemplars submitted are either natural or disguised. By having request exemplar that lack consistency in the letter formation throughout the exemplar, disguised hand printing, and course of business exemplars, that is the natural hand printing, the forensic document examiner can safely report that the request exemplar are disguised. Now let us see disguised numerals. The appearance of disguised in numerals is less than the occurrence in the handprinting and handwriting. The infrequent use of disguise in the numbers may be due to the general misconception that numbers are not identifiable. In addition to this belief, the writer's focus tends to be more on successful disguising text than overlooking the numbers. Disguising of numerals may not always be recognized. Inconsistency, tremor, awkwardness, and lack of varying pen pressure provide forms commonly associated with disguise. A limited presence of numbers in question text or a more stable method of disguise, such as use of an alternate number form, may make it difficult for the forensic document examiner to determine if he or she is examining disguised numerals. Next, we have the preferred method of disguised. Davidson and Kleckler assessed the method of disguise used by 50 writers in their 1986 study. In their study, they noted disguised number in both handwriting and handprinting. In the participant handwriting exemplars, 28 writers' methods of disguise include changing their numbers for 2, 3, 4 and 8. Most of the writers attempt to form the copybook style of the numbers rather than their natural informal style. In the hand-printed exemplars, the writers changed their numbers by writing more slowly and produced more block-type rigid numbers. The most commonly changed number in the hand-printed text were 4 and 8. Kelly researched our preferred method of disguising numbers by 200 writers. The participants were instructed not to use their offhand to change the writing instrument. The method of disguising listed in the order of preference are use of alternate number forms, increased size of numbers, formal version of writers carelessly return natural letters, change of slant, change of pen direction in formation of numbers. Use of unfamiliar formation, whether it is handwriting, handprint or numerals, produces inconsistency in any extended exemplar. Even though inconsistency was present at the beginning of the disguised exemplar in the Kelly studies, it lessens in severity. There was an increase in fluency towards the end of the exemplar. This result indicates that if writer practices the alternate form, he or she will eventually be able to execute the new numeral and minimal evidence of disguise. Now we have the obtaining non-disguised numeral exemplars. Examination of disguised numeral presents a challenge to the forensic document examiner. If the question document reflects the numbers comprised of various formation, it may not be possible to determine the authorship. In cases where the writers provide grotesque number formation on the request exemplar, the investigator or forensic document examiner should continue obtaining dictated exemplars until naturally returned numbers appears. If the writer does not provide naturally executed numbers, an attempt to locate codes of business exemplar should be made by the investigating officer. Now let us recall what we have learned in this module. In disguised writing, the writer is making a conscious effort to change his or her letter formation in order to avoid being identified. However, in distortion, the writer is not intentionally altering his or her writing. The quality of disguise will determine the writer's success in preventing a forensic document examination of the disputed text. Handprinting contains the individuality necessary to allow for an identification or elimination of a writer. The absence of elements such as connecting stroke does not prohibit a thorough analysis of another important characteristic. Three fundamental factors that involve in identification of numerals: form, writing quality or movement, and variation. A unique combination of these factors provides the basis for an identification or elimination. If the question document reflects the numbers comprised of grotesque formation, it may not be possible to determine the authorship.